All right, guys. Well, hey, thanks for tuning in to the Neat Disciples podcast. My name's Jeremy. This is Philip, and usually we're talking, faith and scripture, getting into some bourbon, making some drinks, doing some blinds, having a little bit of fun, making stuff up, having fun.
Yeah.
We're gonna do something a little bit different this time. This is the normal spot where we shoot. We're here in Philip's bar called The Shed down in Southeast Texas, and there's kind of a story to this place. It was once a shed. So knowing that most bourbon drinkers would like to see other people's setups, so we thought we'd take a little bit of time here. And Philip, you can just kind of walk us through your setup, how the shed became the shed.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'd love to. So yeah, like Jeremy said, when I bought this house, not right at 5 years ago, it had this shed. It's just under 200 square foot. It looks awesome from the outside. It's got a porch on it. It looks like an old Western,
that's very cool.
storefront.
It really does.
But it was a mess when I bought it. There was, I think the guy, I don't think, I know he had a big garden and he had a bunch of gardening stuff in here and just a bunch of ins and outs. So I kind of struggled with what I wanted to use it for. I do a lot of barbecuing, so I originally want to make it a cook shack, but I thought, I don't know. And then, our friend group got together and we started drinking bourbon and talking scripture and everything. And I'm like, what? I think it would be a nice bar. So I went with the speakeasy kind of theme.
Yeah.
Did a whole lot of research on, 1920s industrial speakeasy type look. So that's kind of the look that I went with. So I'll take the viewers and you through like a little photographic tour of kind of the progress of it. So the picture here we're putting up, this is...
looks like a shed.
It looks like a shed. This is after I gutted it already. It had wiring and everything, so I had to redo some wiring. But I gutted it, cleaned it. You can see my cool little bike there. You remember the banana seat bikes with the ape hangers and stuff?
Sure, of course I do, yeah.
That bike right there is not designed to hold somebody my weight.
No?
So ended up selling that. But for anybody interested in the bike, it's gone. I don't have it no more. But that's what it looked like. So
that bike did not get used often, did it?
It did not. I used it for a while. It was not built for bigger guys. So I ended up insulating the walls, putting plywood on the back here where the brick is, and then put the brick up, the faux brick, and all the walls. Well, the two side walls, these are actually reclaimed fence pickets that I got from an old fence and cut them to length and pressure washed them, stained them. Had to buy some new cedar for the new cedar look. So that's another picture of the wall right there, finished. I don't know if I have a picture of... I accidentally dropped some paint, and it had a huge white...
Yeah, you got to do some justice here. We didn't drop some paint. You splattered it all over the wall.
There was a big white paint splatter all over this wall that you're seeing right here.
Yeah.
And I ended up taking all the pickets off and restaining them, flipping them over, making it look like it does now. So you can barely tell that some paint was spilled. But that was a mistake on my part. So the ceiling is a drop ceiling. It's got the faux pressed metal look, the copper metal look, and that is also insulated as well. And you can see the front wall has the brick, the fake brick look with the windows. So I put some trim. This is a picture. It doesn't look like that now. I think I have a better picture. But anyway, run all the wires and did the drop ceiling.
Well, let's talk about the door. Oh, I helped hang the door. Yes. Come on, man. So let's talk about the door.
I almost went to the door. I thought I had a better picture of the door. So the original doors, it was a wider frame and it was double doors and they were interior doors and the weather had got to them and they were in really bad shape. So Jeremy came over and we reframed this whole door. I bought this door that's on there now, sanded it down, painted it, the front of it. It's still natural on the inside. Mm-hmm. It's the opening is shorter than a regular door. So I had to cut the door down, and we built the frame and put the door in and everything. So
we were amazed.
We were.
We hung it, and it closed and everything.
It opens and closes.
Yeah.
It keeps the rain and the weather out.
Yeah.
So we did phenomenal on the door. I would have never been able to do it without Jeremy.
And we're never doing it again. But
don't ask us to come install a door. So the door's nice. It's got the little speakeasy window. I've got a curtain over it now. So yeah, finished it out, the ceiling and the walls. Ended up putting laminate flooring in. Then built the bar. So the bar is actually designed by Jeremy's son, Justice, who is an architect. So we sat down one night at Jeremy's house in his bar and explained to Justice exactly what my vision was, and he nailed it.
He made it happen.
He made it happen.
Yeah.
So he had designed it all in a program, had a cut sheet for me. This was super simple to build because I knew exactly what size the boards needed to be when I put it together. So built the frame, put the skin on it, and then my wife stained it, and then went back with some polyurethane coating to seal it. The shelves in the back you can see here, it's the metal, the iron pipe with the stained wood on the top to hold the bourbon, the top shelf bourbon. So yeah, and then had an issue with my bourbon sat flat on the bar, so I ended up having to build these steps. These are in the corner over here for mixers and some extra overflow bourbons, and then I put the long piece on the back. They're now lighted, so in this picture you can see after I put the steps in, before I put the lights in, what it kind of looked like there. And then here's a picture of the front door with the curtains. My mother-in-law made the curtains for me. They're really thick black curtains, so the light does not come through very well, which is what I wanted. I wanted the speakeasy look. I bought some smaller chairs. I really wish I could have had room for big leather chairs, big bulky leather chairs, but I do not have room for that, so we have the smaller chairs.
And being someone that frequents the shed, none of us complain about the size of the chairs. So
the chairs are nice.
Yeah.
One thing too, I've got an air purifier in here, so we do smoke cigars. We haven't done a cigar review in a while. We need to do that.
We do, but I was going to bring that up, so I'm glad you brought it up. That one of the cool features of the shed that you foresaw and took measures is to make sure that, because the weather here in Southeast Texas can often not cooperate, and we have mosquitoes the size of helicopters and whatnot, that to be able to be indoors, you've got an air conditioner, what's it called, these things?
Mini split.
There we go. Thank you. Mini split. It was something split. Mini split and an air purifier. And we sat here and smoked many a cigar, and you can tell, but it is not overbearing.
No,
so it's an enjoyable experience.
It clears it pretty fast.
It does,
I have a vent fan that's in the ceiling that pulls smoke, and then an air purifier works pretty good.
Yeah.
When we have 6 guys in here smoking cigars, sometimes we'll crack a window to get the smoke to release a little faster.
It's much, but it does. But it's, hey, if you're smoking cigars, you don't care.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It turns over pretty quick.
It's usually the spouses that come in and care.
Yes, every time the spouses come in, it's so smoky in here, and we're sitting there like, it's not so bad.
We don't smell a thing.
Yeah, not so bad. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's the little smoking lounge. This is the bar after I put the lights on the steps. So I got some LED light strips and put on the bourbon steps there. Got me a sign made. There's a company called Hometown Metalworks. You can find them online if you want to get a sign made, a metal sign. So they made the sign for me. A friend of mine in Phoenix made the barbecue sign, the Wigginton barbecue sign. And then you can see in this picture, I've got a little bit of a sink back here, and it was Jeremy's recommendation to put a glass rinser. So that was a game changer. So it does have a little glass rinser.
I'm jealous. I'm not jealous so much in here, but that thing I am jealous of. Yes,
it is pretty nice.
Yes.
So that's the kind of finished product. Here's what it looks like with the main lights off and just the bar lights. So it gives it a nice ambiance, and I do have a little bit of bourbon. This is not all of my bourbon. I have some in the house that's kind of backups to backups and everything. But yeah, that was a fun project. It's really cool just to come sit and hang out. Our guys come in and we hang out. We got some guys coming in here in a little bit. We're going to smoke some cigars and talk about a trip to Kentucky.
Yeah.
So stay tuned for some of that.
Yeah.
And then I think we're under 90 days before we go to Kentucky.
I think so, yeah.
So really excited about that. But, even the wives come over and hang out. They don't really like the smoke, but my wife will come in here and we'll hang out and have a cocktail or two. So it's been a really nice space. Of course, doing the podcast, it's a great backdrop for that. So it's a good space. And so I'll finish the video with the fly through of kind of what it looks like, and you can see kind of the full breadth of it.
Yeah, it's a cool space that, I did see it as just a shed, and now I helped a little bit, but to see how it kind of morphed into something a lot more useful and usable. Could have been any number of things, but this has been pretty cool. I mean, to your point, there's been Bible studies that take place back here. There's been groups that meet in here. So it's not just a drinking lounge. It's predominantly that. But this is where, if you go back to our very first episode, we talked about there's grace in bourbon and fellowship. And really bourbon is more about who you're drinking with than drinking. And this is a place where, many people have sat down and just been encouraged or just, been able to share about life. And there's some therapy that happens in here. And so just a good use of what maybe you once thought was wasted space. Yeah. And I would even say, knowing your wife, she may have had another vision for this space. I'm sure she did. I think you had mentioned that. I don't remember what it was, but I think there was she had a different vision for it. But she's pretty pleased with what it is now. She's used it, not in the way that we do, but she has used it and sees the value of it. So, yeah. And you're very generous with this space too. So, as one that gets to frequent the shed often, I appreciate it. And, so we figured you'd enjoy to see the setup, because I love seeing other people's setup, and in fact, this inspired me to change my setup a little bit. I got my wife on board with changing my setup and my bar. Maybe we'll just kind of quickly do this. Mine's not as exciting, but maybe we can do that one day. But hey man, tell us about your setup. We'd love to comment, post a picture of your setup, because this may not be a finished project. Mine may not be a finished project. There's always improvements to be made. There's always ideas to be learned and garnered. So. Yeah, put in a comment, send us a picture of your setup, show it off, be proud. We'd love to see it, because it's pretty cool.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'd love to see your space. And hey, thanks for staying with us and hearing the story of the shed. And like Jeremy said, we look forward to seeing what you have and maybe hearing your story about it.
That's right. Yeah. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.